Double game week 33 is here, the single biggest game week of the FPL season. 6 teams, 2 games each, and 30 chances to score points. We wildcarded last week to build for this moment, and this week the bench boost is active. Everything we planned for comes down to this game week. Let's get into it. Hi everyone, welcome back to FPL Fix. This is your double game week 33 preview. I'm James, and with me as always is Patrick.
Hi everyone, this is the week we've been building towards. Chips are flying and both of us have the bench boost active. This is a week that has potential to make or break your season.
Here's the double game week 33 setup in full. 6 teams play twice this week: Bournemouth, Brighton, Burnley, Chelsea, Leeds and Man City. And that's the reason so many chips are active. There's a potential 30 chances to score points if you play 15 doublers with the bench boost this week. Over 499,000 managers played their wildcard last week specifically to set this up.
Yeah, and we're 2 of those managers. Wildcard last week into bench boost this week. This is what we planned for, and the predicted points are huge this week, which we'll get into during the team reveals.
Not everyone will be bench boosting this week, but a huge proportion of active managers will have a chip in play. So let's talk about the options available and give our favourite drafts for each setup. On the wildcard, this can be a really strong week to wildcard as long as you've still got a free hit to use in 34. You're looking at picking around 11 double game week players to field the strongest 11 possible, with 3 Man City locked so you're set up for the next double as well. The bench should have the likes of Bruno, Gabriel and Arsenal Palace assets ahead of the good fixtures for Arsenal and the double game week for Palace, which is likely in 36.
The next chip being used is a free hit. If your team looks good for blank game week 34 and is set up well for the rest of the season, then a free hit has potential. You'll want 11 doublers on a free hit to maximise the potential, but you don't need to worry about picking players for the long term. It's effectively a massive 1 week punt across your team, and you can get a bit more differential with your picks.
Next up is the triple captain chip. Now we've both used this already this season, but if you've still got it and don't have a bench boost or really need another chip this week, then this could be a good opportunity. There aren't too many other weeks to use it in now, and there's uncertainty about the motivation of the City players by the time we get to game week 36 when they're likely to double again. Our favourite strategy though is the bench boost. There's no better week to use this chip for the rest of the season and have this many fixtures to target. There's huge gains to be made this week, and most of the free hit and wildcard teams will be similar to this one, but without the extra players coming from the bench. Let us know in the comments, what chip are you on this week? Before we get into the captaincy, we need to talk about Nico O'Reilly. A lot of wildcard squads invested in the Man City defender and got instantly rewarded with 14 points, but there is now a doubt over his availability. He came off with a hamstring injury, and if he misses both games in 33, that's a massive hole in your bench boost. Keep checking team news right up to Saturday's deadline. If he is out, then Guehi and Nunes are the most popular direct replacements, and other managers are using an extra transfer and bringing in Shirky as their third City player.
Right, on to captaincy, and this is where most managers will play it safe, but it's still an important decision this week.
Yeah, we're both going for Haaland, and honestly, this might just be one of the weeks where the safe pick is the best pick. He's got 2 games, Arsenal, Burnley, and that Burnley fixture is where the damage could happen. He's top for overall FPL points this season, big chances, shots inside the box, so everything points towards Haaland.
And the key thing is, you're not really gaining rank from captaincy this week, you're actually protecting it.
Exactly. Your main chances for rank gains this week come from either playing the bench boost or the differential options within your teams if you're not playing the bench boost. If you're really chasing rank and are adamant that you want to go against the template, then Palmer is probably the player to go for. He's proven his explosiveness in the past, and even if he plays poorly, he could easily get a penalty or 2 over the fixtures and come away with a big score that way. I wouldn't recommend going against Haaland, but that's who I'd pick if I wanted to be massively differential. So let us know, are you giving Haaland the armband, or trying to gain rank with someone else? Okay, time for a quick look back at game week 32, the first week of our wildcard squads. I finished on 54 points and got a red arrow, down about 7,000 places to 62k. Even though I got a red arrow, I was pretty pleased with the outcome. If I hadn't wildcarded, I would have only scored 2 points more and wouldn't have been able to bench boost this week. O'Reilly was my standout with 14 points, which was brilliant, even with the early sub and injury concerns, and Anthony's disallowed goal probably worked in my favour with the double Brighton clean sheet coming through.
I scored 51 points and got a small red arrow which dropped me back just outside the top million. The highlight for me was Shirky with 10 points. My differential pick absolutely delivered in his first week, which was great. The double Brighton defence paid off as well, with their lucky clean sheet.
Okay, time for the team reveals now, and this is what we've been waiting for. The models have my team scoring a projection of over 120 points, and here's what it looks like. In goal, I've gone with Darlow from Leeds. He's got 2 winnable games with clean sheet potential and starts for me over Verbruggen. At the back, it's going to be either Nico O'Reilly or Matheus Nunes for Man City's double, depending on the injury news. With the title on the line, Pep will be going all out in both games, it just depends on O'Reilly's fitness. Next is Senesi and Hill from Bournemouth, who don't have the best fixture, but 2 games with great chances of DEFCON returns. If they do manage a clean sheet in either of the games, then their returns could be massive. And Strauch has my last defender spot, which gives me a Leeds double up at the back. He has DEFCON potential and his minutes are more guaranteed than some of his teammates. In midfield, it's Tavernier first. He's been so close to a massive haul in recent weeks. He's hit the woodwork a few times, he's got a share of the penalties, and with 2 games, I'm backing him to deliver. Palmer for Chelsea, who's my vice-captain, against Man United and Brighton, and his ceiling is enormous across the double, even with his hit and miss form recently. And Semenyo takes my last midfielder spot. Up front, it's João Pedro for Chelsea, who has great potential, Haaland with the armband, who we spoke about already, and Calvert-Lewin, who plays against Wolves and Bournemouth. He's the penalty taker, and even with his dodgy finishing, he's getting so many big chances lately that he's due a return or 2. On the bench, Verbruggen and Van Heck both doubling for Brighton, Bruno, who only plays once away at Chelsea, and Anthony doubling for Burnley. That's 14 doublers out of the maximum of 15. Bruno's a definite hold for me, even with his single fixture.
Okay, my turn. It's worth mentioning that I still got my free hit available for blank game week 34 as well, which gives me the freedom to go really aggressive on doublers this week without worrying about what comes next. For Brogdon in goal, he's been the best performing budget keeper of the last 6 game weeks, and doubles against Spurs and Chelsea. At the back, I've got Senesi and Hill doubling for Bournemouth, same as you, and Van Hecker for Brighton. He's been the top FPL scorer this season with goals, assists and DEFCON potential across 2 games. In midfield, Bruno away to Chelsea. His form this season has been so ridiculous I'm still backing him. Palmer doubling for Chelsea, Semenyo with his 2 Man City fixtures, and Shirky, who already proved his worth with 10 points last week. He started 4 matches in a row and has been City's most exciting player lately. At under 10% ownership, another big score from him this week will be massive for my rank. Up front, Haaland is my captain for obvious reasons. João Pedro doubling for Chelsea and Welbeck doubling for Brighton. On the bench, I've got Dalot, Cucurella, Tavernier and Strauch. All 4 double and all contribute to the bench boost. Tavernier sitting on the bench is controversial, but get all their points anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, there's some big similarities between our squads, and that's obvious with a lot of the core players being the same, but there's a few differentials in there as well, so it'll be interesting to see who scores the most. Shirky could be really interesting if he plays 90 minutes in both games. He's a great differential, and up against Arsenal and Burnley, he could really deliver. That's all for this one. If you found it useful, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, it really helps us out.
Follow us on X at Weekend Fix for team news and last minute updates. And remember, deadline is an early one this week, Saturday 11 AM. Make sure you don't oversleep.
Yeah, make sure you set your alarm, Patrick. You're probably going to be the one who oversleeps and misses the deadline. Good luck everyone, enjoy the big double game week and we'll see you on the other side.